Well, thanks for having me, everyone. I'm Justin Harson. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Coinsmart.com. I am also the CEO and co-founder of Needles.com, another AI company here in Toronto. And I'm a three-time exit founder. So I'm not a developer, and I can't get into all the nitty-gritties of all the fun stuff you'd love to talk about. But what I can talk about is the cryptocurrency world and what we're doing to change it. And Ali on my team, who's one of our developers, will introduce himself in a second, can get into some of the finer details and answer some of the questions that you guys may have. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
How's it going, guys? I'm one of the engineers at Coinsmart. Yeah, today we're talking about a little bit about our company and how we do things here.
So who in the room owns some cryptocurrency today? Okay, so about 12% of you guys. That's good. That's good. I like that because the reality is there is a problem that exists in the market, and that is there's a lot of people who don't trust it and don't know about it, and it's not very accessible. And that's our mantra. What we're trying to do at Coinsmart is take an alternative approach and making cryptocurrency accessible. So those three words are everything that we think about every day. Making cryptocurrency accessible, and everything we think about is our users, from our UI UX, through our ease of use, all the way through to our customer or client services. So cryptocurrency, what is it? Does anyone know? I know it's on the screen, but does anyone want to take a stab at what it is? Well, it's a digital currency that is managed in the easiest form by the blockchain. But cryptocurrency isn't blockchain. Blockchain is the technology that's the underlying force to drive it. Decentralization of actual ledger technology. So we won't get into too much of that right now, but I think that's the underlying piece of it. And what we talk about most and what we're offering to our users are utility tokens that are on our network. So we actually are the largest collection of tokens here in Canada, or coins. And we're about to add 8 more over the next 35 days. So we will have the largest collection moving forward for a long time. We do that by having technology that other people don't have. So just to give you some numbers, the market cap, so I guess the question is, before I get that, is the sky falling? Everything you hear about is cryptocurrency going to exist tomorrow? What is blockchain really happening? You see these prices, the price has gone down like crazy. But let's give you some stats. The market did drop from $800 billion to $215 billion. Bitcoin is down 60% from its historical high. It's very highly volatile, but that's a great thing. Because if you're a trader, that's where you make your money. And to give you some insight here, from this day last year to today, we've still seen over 60% increase in price. So it is a great value coin, or a great value for Bitcoin exactly itself. And we're still doing really well. What other investments do you guys have or diversifying to that's done 60% in 1 year? So if we take a look at this, this is a good chart to understand so people actually know where we are. I'm not going to read through all of it, and I guess your head's a little bit in the way here to see the coins. But every investment that you would have made starting at $100 would have done something excellent for you in this short period of time. So don't look at this as sky falling. Don't think, is it going away? And I will never tell you which coin to buy. I'm not allowed to do that. But I really believe in the fact that for every person in this room, if you are an investor, you're someone who likes to save money, that every person's portfolio should hold a piece of cryptocurrency. While there is inherent risk, as there is in any investment, there's outsized returns to be had. So definitely look into it and learn more. We have an entire section on our website to help people called getsmart.coinsmart.com, where you can go learn the basics. You can read at the basic level, or we go from basic to medium to intermediate, where you can read all 3 versions, whatever suits you best. So go take a look at that when you get a chance. So where are we in this market? Everyone's going, have you seen it happen? Well, I think most people know what the S-curve of adoption is, but I think it's really interesting to see here that the innovators get in early, and we haven't even gone past the early adoption, the inception point of going up. We're still right at the beginning. And as you can see, if you look at the scale, it's gone up and down, up and down. But these are only small dips that you'll see as we eventually go through the market today. And as technology catches up and the blockchain gets faster and we see new projects coming to life, we're going to see some excellent things happen. So watch for this. We're still very early from that. Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like a lot of people don't actually understand what the benefits of cryptocurrency is. I mean, at this point, we're still in the gray area. I mean, look at the crowd right now. Not everyone knows what crypto is. But at some point, the goal is cryptocurrency is gonna, well, hopefully at some point, be an alternative to using cash, right? That's the whole point of it. It's a decentralized network of currency. So the bank is gonna own your money. You, whatever you own, is your money. Period. That makes sense? Kind of? So that's the whole purpose. The whole purpose is whatever you own isn't done by the middleman anymore. Your quantity of money is yours, and that's it. That's the whole purpose of it.
Great point, thank you. So some issues, why hasn't it been adopted? Well, market conditions are obviously some. We're in a bull market right now. And in a bull market, you don't have mass entrants coming in. That's a problem. So in December in a bear market, sorry, it was a bear market now, in a bull market at that point, we saw hundreds of thousands of Canadians getting involved, and not even talking about internationally. So it's overly complex. You have to understand the technology and understand, do the research in it. Trading platforms are not what everybody's used to. And what exists on the market is cumbersome. The lack of education that's been there. And the biggest part is the missing trust. Who and what are you sending your money to? I'll give you an example. So we had actually an investor in our company. He came into the office, he said, what's going on here? Tell me about this new project we have going on. And we get into it, we start pitching him. He said, let me just stop you right there. He said, let me tell you a little story. I've made a lot of money, I like to invest in this, and I want to send $100,000 to Kraken, a US company in quotations. But my money had to be sent over to Poland. That's where the banking is. 4 weeks later, my money hadn't shown up. I sent an email, it took 4 weeks for them to get back to me. 12 weeks later, I missed the market, and I had gone searching, I thought I lost my $100,000. Well, that's obviously a problem. So being here, the only dual bank Canadian exchange, he wrote us a check right on the spot there as an investor in our company because we're changing that. The trust factor of sending your money to other countries, when you're trying to get away from banks and centralized money, is a big problem. We've changed that today. So some mass adoption enablers that we're doing seamless UI, UX. I urge you to go take a look at what we're doing. We've taken all the complexity out of it. But the accessibility support, another huge thing that we've at our company, I know you can attest to this, we will get back to you in hours. We have an SLA of 2 hours. We have 24-hour support around the clock. And because of that, we see the organic signups happening all the time. So we've solved that by using some AI solutions for on that side of technology, as well as some other great pieces for that. Resources at all levels is obviously key, and improved transparency. We don't hide fees. We don't give you fees in crypto that you might not understand and don't know how to translate. Transparency is key for us in building that trust factor. So let's talk a little bit about technology. I guess that's what you guys know, and I'll leave you into that.
Yeah, so one of the biggest things for cryptocurrency was making it as seamless as possible for you guys. So if you wanted to come into our website within maybe, I don't know, within a couple hours, you could have come in, sign up, register, verify, and buy some crypto. Easy as that. Now, a lot of you probably don't really know what trading pairs are. Does anyone know what that is? Yeah, one person? Okay, it's not bad. 135?
Two.
Two, okay, not bad. So the whole purpose is that our system has this concept of double trading. So what that means is if you wanted, let's say, Ripple, XRP, to let's say, I don't know, you wanted Monero. So these are all different currencies. What you can do is you can log in, go to Double Trade, pick what you want to buy, basically, and then our system will basically allow the transaction to happen seamlessly. You want something, you get it, and that's it. Easy as that.
So just to break that down, typically if you wanted to buy Monero, you'd have to pair that with its pairing partner, whether it's Ethereum, Bitcoin, or nonetheless. We've taken that out of it. So you can go from fiat or any currency to any other currency in one transaction. We show you all the prices at one time. So it's a super important piece for us. These new entrants into the market, and people who don't have the time or technically advanced to go and figure out how to buy one then the other, and usually you have to send your money or your currency from one exchange to another. You can all do it at one house here in Canada. I think that's a big differentiator for us. But to do that is a very difficult thing. It's not easy. You can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so like Justin was saying, so our tech is basically using an intermediary cryptocurrency. So we're going from one to another and then basically doing all that for you in one step. So you don't have to worry about what's going on. everything that we're doing is there for you to make it easy as possible. One other big feature that we have is security. No one wants to lose their money, right? I mean, no one wants to get hacked. I'm sure you guys all have heard those like stories on like BitTrack, the big exchanges that have lost money. We're not like that. We're a lot more secure. So the whole purpose behind us that we're using, we're basically using multiple vendors to provide that service for you, just so that your money stays with you pretty much. Yeah.
So to that point, if anything's online, it's hackable, and that's called our hot storage. So we store about 5% of what our users' money online, so it's easily accessible. And 95+% of it is stored in cold storage. So as you're saying, we use multiple vendors, so we're not with just one to keep that money in different places, and it's all offline. So it takes multiple keys and a whole process to have that money come back online. So security is something we don't talk a lot about. We don't get into all the details, because if we did, then obviously we leave some holes out there for other people. But as we said, security has to be there to have that trust, and we always like to build that. And I guess you'll talk about the internal middleware that we use.
Yeah, so the internal middleware is basically it's a third-party service that we're using, and it basically allows us to basically have your transactions done through a third-party service, and that way it's secure for all of us. And then Justin, do you want to talk about the tax reports?
Yeah, so I went ahead here. There we go. And the last thing that's pretty advanced that we're working on now, and these problems all seem like they're easy to solve, but they're not because of security, regulation, all the above, is tax reporting. So we'll be the first platform to make available for this upcoming tax season a one-click tax solution. So that's understanding what adjusted cost base means by regulation and law, creating the ledgers for them on their behalf, delivering them to their accountant as well as their tax forms. So this is something that we're heavily at work right now, solving those problems that no one else has before. And we can do that because we're the one house where you can buy multiple currencies in one spot and bring all that data to one area. So we're working on that very hard right now. So why start an exchange? People ask us all the time. There's some that exist on the market today, but they're not making it accessible, as we talked about. We wanted to develop our product only with the end user in mind, not with becoming everything to everyone, but serving a specific purpose. We want to also build a community based on trust, like we talked about. We want to provide educational resources and increase awareness here. We want to share the benefits of crypto as part of a well-balanced portfolio. So just to let you guys know, we're going to offer everyone in DevTO free $25 in crypto. Use the code DevTO. You can share that with your friends. If you have any questions, we're here to answer them for you. Thank you very much.
Between national currency between Coin Square, because the wood for you guys here, the differences like you're saying that the Coin Square does it. You're saying I can buy any crypto and you can buy it during
Yeah. So
it'll be like Coin Square typically put money in and you can buy whatever have on your machine.
Right.
That's kind of like, so how's Coin Square compared to Coin Square?
So just your point, you can go to Fiat there and you can purchase one of 4 coins: Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin. And now it's sort of 5 minutes straight Ripple now after we did. So you can go to those coins, you can go to Fiat and purchase any of them. And you can also trade between those because they're all paired to Bitcoin. So when you own Bitcoin, you can buy whatever you want. For us, offering things like Monero, EOS is coming, Neo, all the way down the line, you have to know who they paired with if you do that. So the fact that we have more coins and it gets more complicated by having this one pairing with that one and vice versa. Again, we can just go from anything to anything, and we take care of all the transactions in the background for you. So it's more offering, better interface, more ability to go from anything to anything, so you don't lose time, money, all that sort of stuff. Hopefully it is, for sure. Any other questions? Yep, go ahead.
What are the famous news about proof of stake? And do you guys I mean, if you guys keep up to date with this type of news, and when the switch would be made, how would that impact question mark?
Well, that's kind of the approach why we took to be an exchange as a business person myself is we don't, we're coin or token agnostic. So we don't really worry so much about the technology that those coins are used or building upon or the utility there of that coin. So to your question though, when are they going to move to it? They're not all going to move at the same time, depending on what network they're on, what blockchain they're using, if it's ERC20 or if it's ETH or whatever it may be. So I can't answer that for you. I think we'll see between now and Christmas that happen. With that, I'll see some price adjustments I think going on in a positive way. So I think it's something that we're all looking forward to, and we're just watching the news to see what happens. I know the Lightning Network right now is making some major changes, and they just increased their load. We've seen that Bitcoin network has actually opened up a little bit, so new transactions much quicker than we were before at much lower cost. It's called the gas price. Sorry. Yeah, yeah, it's good. It's definitely good news. So it's a wait and see game right now. Again, we are still in the early adopter or the inventors category of this. We have to start seeing it being readily used in public in a way where you can go into your coffee shop, whichever one that is, and use it appropriately. That's when we'll start seeing this come online. So it sounds like a lot going on because it's early, lots being talked about it, but it's going to be, and it's very cliche to say, but I think it's a paradigm shift on how we're going to look at using money, currency, and technology. Like having the fact that things are decentralized and we can start tracking things appropriately and making available public health records, your IDs, wills, logistics, all those pieces, it's going to change in time. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I actually have two questions, and they're more related to cryptocurrencies rather than the exchange platform. Which is the reason why I'm still waiting the sidelines is because from what I've seen, all the research that I have done, based on that, I've noticed there are some very compelling arguments in favor of cryptocurrencies and also against them, right? And the reason why I'm kind of still skeptical is because of the fact that it's currently still being used more as a commodity rather than a currency itself, right? If you take a look at the amount of transactions where the currencies are being used as a currency compared to as a form of investment, it's still basically some people that are even saying that no, it's being used for the dark web and all this for criminals and stuff like that, which is, I mean, it's true. It's because it's still being used as part of it's still working up, and I don't believe in this. I really believe in cryptocurrencies. I know that it's going to be the future, but I'm still not exactly clear where the adoption is still going to ramp up. So I don't know. Maybe it's whenever the big corporations start actually using it. What are your thoughts on this?
So while the big corporations are not using it per se in a day-to-day right this minute, what you are seeing is these huge enterprises buying it and selling it and storing it and coming up with solutions of buying companies. So you have the biggest financial institution, Fidelity, out of Boston. They just poured billions of dollars into it, not only their own coins, but buying other blockchain and cryptocurrency companies. So you see this happening slowly. And the fact is, that it's using for dark web. I'm not going to comment that. I'm sure that happens, but cash is still used to do that, and wiring money is still used to do that, and creative ways are still used to do that. So this may make it easier, but I think as the world changes and we see things like cannabis becoming legal here in Canada anyways, that's going to stop some of those things from happening in places like this. Let's talk about the real use cases. The real use cases are unbanked nations who now have to trade chickens for that blanket that they have, and they don't have, they couldn't even afford to go to a bank where there's no one near there to actually use it. So now you can use your phone and actually transfer currency to that person and then have that ability to use that currency online for it. So I think there's arguments both ways. I totally understand the people who are waiting on the sidelines, This is again, the early adoption. This is the time where you get it. And like I said, there's 18,000 plus projects or currencies, utility tokens out there. Who knows if any of those exist in a year? Who knows if Bitcoin exists in a year? There will be currency. There will be something that is out there that takes over and actually allows you to do what you want to do with your money. And you know we've seen through our research is this was used a lot before by my language, but fuck the man. We don't want to pay taxes. We don't want to do that sort of stuff with it. But that's not what Canadians want, and that's who we're servicing. Everyone that we talked to has said to us at 99.8, sorry, is the real number, has said, I want to pay taxes on the investments I'm putting in here. I just want to be part of it. So that's why tax was a super important piece for us. We know we want it. So I hope that answers your question. Yep, go ahead.
So the second question is, well, if you take a look at the definition of currency, right? It's medium of exchange, units of accounts, or medium of exchange for units of accounts. That's easy. But there's a lot of discussions around store value, right? And I understand that Bitcoin, for instance, there was the proof of work, and it's like all the computational work that is put in order to calculate the next hash and all of that, right? Like, so it's kind of like it's like a virtual store value, right? But what are your thoughts in terms of how to, and I understand that people, like, they're still trying to figure out, like, the value behind, the computational work. And that's one of the reasons why it's so volatile right now, right? Like, because we still have, like, a few years of Bitcoin or cryptocurrency history, so it's still trying to adjust itself. But what are your thoughts in terms of like how to? Well, I guess the question is how do you think that we're going to get to that stable kind of form to assess how much the computational work is worth?
Well, I think it went to a little to the point before on proof of stake as well as proof of work. So I think there's some changing in how we actually look at that computational value of it and how we're actually mining those coins to come to market. I have to be honest, I don't have a clear answer for you on this. I don't know if Ali does or not. But the reality is when we look at it and what happened in history of coins or dollars being backed by gold, that just doesn't work in our society anymore. It just doesn't make any sense. So we're looking for new ways to do that, and the fact that we can do that by having it decentralized in general, and it being on a ledger that everyone can access, allows us to see those stores, understand that they do have value, and it's not in a Federal Reserve somewhere that someone's telling us it has some value. So again, it's a wait and see sort of thing. We're going to learn more about that as we move forward.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, go over here.
Yeah, I have a question. Go back to Canada. What about trade exchange? Will they ever pay GST? Oh, I read that.
That's a great question. I can't say never. I'll say it's not going to be for a long time. We don't pay GST or HST or any taxes on any taxes on purchasing of our investments. And as this comes under the OSC, whether they deem some of them to be securities or if they are truly utility tokens, and it's an asset class in itself as an investment, I don't think they'll treat it with a tax implication up front. I think they'll take that as an investment on the back end on a buy-sell situation, whether it's a loss or a gain. We have not, well, what they have said, which you can read between the lines if you wish, is, well, the OSC follows a lot of what the SEC does in the US, and the SEC in the US has said that Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum are not security tokens, they are utility tokens. So you can take that as a win, that those are utilities, which is great, or you can take that as that means everything else until we hear otherwise is a security token. So again, interpretation law, having good lawyers, how to understand that, we built out a very extensive 40, 50 page guideline of how we choose what is a utility, a framework of that, which the basics come into, the very the how test, which you look into, and then we have how to determine past that what we think the utility is. And does everyone know what a utility token, why they call it a utility token, or should I? So a utility token is, as easily put, you're pre-purchasing the ability to use some sort of technology. So if that is a hosting company per se, like a decentralized AWS service, you're prepaying for the ability to use blocks of that service at a later time when it becomes available. As that company grows and their technology grows, they gain in value the same way as stock would, or decrease in value the same way as stock would. And that's why the price on the currency of that company will go up and down. Yep.
The reason the cryptos have information is because based on more on speed and you can't match the speed of fiat currencies, then the reason will never really become mainstream because like Ripple is one of the most fast currencies for now and transaction speed.
Yep.
Where Bitcoin, saying Bitcoin has come down, but it's still very slower and
Absolutely.
that in an insane really.
Yep.
So I think the transaction fees have to come down and cryptocurrencies have to be very transaction speed up.
Absolutely. So as you said, Ripple is much quicker.
Yeah.
There's other ones that are quicker. So there's obviously some controversy with Ripple, considering that it is not fully decentralized. There's some centralized traits to it, which goes against the whole cryptocurrency ethos. But it does work. So you see people adopting that, like Money Marks and MoneyGram, because of the speed in which they can transact on it.
Yeah.
But we see technology increasing right now with things like the Lightning Network, which I mentioned earlier, which is another layer on the blockchain that will actually do 100,000 transactions per second versus the 7 transactions per second Bitcoin can do right now.
Yeah.
And what it does, it aggregates those and lets happen in that time. So we'll see some changes with it again. I don't think Bitcoin is going to be your transactional coin that you're going to purchase your coffees with.
Yeah.
I think it will be another coin. I think it will be the store of value, and then things like Litecoin will be, if that's your goal, if Bitcoin's your goal, your Litecoin will be your silver, lower value, but more usable over time. So that's how I see that.